Hello, Truth Seekers. Lawrence here, and welcome to Easy Enlightenment. So, here is a simple approach on how to create an inward journey to understand the nature of the mind and eventually to drop the mind. And yes, spiritual journey is about dropping the mind. Why? Because the mind is the source of conflict, mind is the source of fear, mind is the source of struggle. So, real spiritual journey is about giving up the mind. To give up the mind, you have to see the truth. Until you see the truth, you can't give up the mind because you are the mind. You identify yourself with the mind. The mind is so real to you. And the more you hang on to the mind and move with the mind, you're moving with the past and the imaginative future and ignoring the present. So, to be free from the mind, you must see the truth. To be in the now, truly be in the now, you must see the truth. So here's a simple approach. You need to question yourself. You need to question your assumptions. You need to question your belief about yourself, and you need to question your belief on how you see the world. Questioning is the way to understand the mind and eventually to give up the mind. Now, in the spiritual journey, questioning is about dismantling the mind or subtracting the mind. You are already mind, and because of that, there's a conflict, there's a struggle, there's a pain. So we don't want to expand anymore. We want to subtract, we want to dismantle, we want to trace the mind backward to see whether the mind is real or not. And in that process, you will also figure out the plain sight truth. So, questioning is about subtracting or dismantling. You don't want to expand the mind. Expanding the mind is about moving away from who you are. Okay? So, don't go further out by making your head bigger. And you know that expanding the mind is not going to help, not going to be helpful. Why? Because you have already expanded the mind so much, even in the spiritual sense. Notice how much ideas you have collected in the name of spirituality. So, realize it's not working. So how to make it work now, to be free from the mind, to drop the mind, is about questioning yourself. Now, there's many ways you can question yourself, okay, to trace the mind backward. But I want you to use this example, if you like. So, there's always something we want to say, isn't it? We have to be part of the world. We see things and we naturally have that itch to say something when we see something. Now, even you're right, even it's the right thing to say, I want you to ask yourself, why do I have this itch to say something? See here, I'm using why. When you use why, you're going to make it personal. And you have to make this journey personal. You have to point the fingers at yourself. The inner freedom is not about pointing fingers at the world, why the world is fucked up. That is not needed. You have to turn the awareness back to yourself, and you have to point the fingers at yourself, and you have to work on tracing your own mind backward. So, the example is, why do I have this itch to say something? In your spiritual journey, you have a time to be part of yourself, right? In your meditation or in a quiet practice, you use this question as a background. Okay, so Ask yourself, why do I have this urge to say something? If you ask, there should be the answer, because you have the itch. You always do that. Not just you, the whole world have that, impulse. This impulse is our conditioning. We are conditioned to say something. Okay, so the conditioning is already there. So when you ask yourself, why do I have this itch to say something in this situation? In a day, there are many times you have said something in the past, and today there will be many more situation that you'll face, and you have something to say. This something to say is so automatic now, we naturally go out, isn't it? So when you question yourself, why do I have this itch to say, there is an answer for your question. And no matter what answer you see, now you ask yourself, why is that important? This simple journey using why is going to help you trace your idea backward. And tracing the idea backward is a dismantling or subtracting approach to figure out the reason, the deeper reason, or the root cause of our conditioning. When you trace your mind backward, you'll figure out the root cause of your surface movement of your life. And once you see the root, then you have to dismantle the root as well. The root itself is a belief. And truth of who you are is not a belief. Truth of who you are is a consciousness itself. And the nature of the consciousness is conscious and empty. Empty. So root is not empty. Holding on to that root itself is a belief, is a conditioning. Okay, so belief is not truth. And we cannot say belief is true, because belief is always changing. And the belief itself comes from our experience. Whatever the stubborn belief we have has come from our experience. And we hold on to that belief. That belief is because that belief has created a major shift in your life. It is true for you because you have seen the change in your life through that. But you must realize that that belief is the relative truth. And even the relative truth, there's a tons of relative truth, because the relative world is sequential. And whatever point that you got that belief is sequential. And there's still further upgraded truth you can get in the relative world. So it's a relative truth, and the truth of who you are is not the relative truth. The relative truth also need to go to figure out the absolute truth. Absolute truth is the unchanging truth. That's why it's called absolute truth. So when you are questioning yourself and tracing the mind backward, you will see the ingrained belief in you. That is the attachment, that is the conditioning. Then you have to let go of that as well. And letting go of that root conditioning is scary for you. Why? Because the root is supportive. It supports you. You have made your life out of that root. And everything you're doing right now is from that root and feeding back into that root to make that root stronger. And enlightenment journey, spiritual journey, is about dissolving that root as well. To let go that root. Now, notice when you hear the idea of letting go of the root, especially root that supports your life, gives you flow, gives you comfort, gives you fun, you have a hard time to disconnect yourself from that. And that that logical thinking creates a fear in you. Now, once you see the root, you have to give up the root. Now, there's a fear of letting go. And now you ask yourself, why do I have a hard time letting go? Or why do I have a fear of letting go? That is even more direct. Why do I have a fear of letting go? And now that why will help you to see the logical answer. And no matter what answer comes in, you have to use that answer to trace your mind back further. So you stay with the why. Why do I have fear of letting go? There's the answer. And now, why is that important? So that second why is going to help you, give you the second answer, and then whatever answer you see, keep using the why. So we started with, why do I have an urge to say something, right? Why do I have this itch to say something? That was the example. But that scenario of itch to say something is the deep conditioning in us, the belief in us. And now we have to give up that belief as well, because that belief itself is a struggle. That belief itself is bringing so much conflict in life, so much fear in life. Notice, by holding that belief and saying something to others, there's a battle, isn't it? There's a conflict. If you're explaining something when the people are in the same minded openness, then yes, you can grow together. But there are scenarios that you hold a certain preference, the world holds different preference, and the preference clash, and that's where the struggle comes in. And why the struggle is there? Because of holding on to the ingrained belief, the preference. So when it comes to being free from the mind, you have to investigate your mind thoroughly to see whether the mind is really true or not. Because you're holding on to the mind, you're holding on to certain belief, you're holding on to certain idea or preference, which is the mind. So you're attached to the mind, and with the mind, you're pulsing. So, and spiritual journey is about dissolving the mind, and the spiritual journey is about understanding the nature of the mind to drop the mind. So investigating the mind itself is a way to understand whether the mind is true or not, whether the mind is really me or not. Because we all have become the mind. We are moving in the mind. So if we are the mind, don't you think we need to investigate the mind, whether the mind is true or not? Especially if you want to be free from the mind, if you want to free from the conflict, fear, struggle, pain in your life, it is a must. Questioning yourself is a must to figure out whether the mind is true or not. And let me tell you this, the mind is not true. Mind is the byproduct of your experience. Whatever you have gone through in your life, that experience always leaves a residue in you as an idea. And the mind is just simply a collection of ideas, and we are latching into the upgraded ideas in life, upgraded preference in life, upgraded belief in our lives. That's who we are. So if you have a fear in your life, that means you don't see who you are, and that also shows that you are the mind. And to see who you are, you have to drop the mind. So how to drop the mind so the mind don't bounce back is by investigating the mind. Investigating the mind is a thorough approach to understand the nature of the mind. And when you understand the nature of the mind, you can simplify your mind as well. You can simplify your life by connecting to a simple mind. That simple mind is already less headache. But don't stop there. You want to go further. You want to be totally free from the mind. You want to see who you are. So you go further in dismantling the mind. So dismantling is a crucial aspect of the spiritual journey. And reflect. You haven't questioned yourself enough. You haven't dismantled your mind enough. And until you dismantle thoroughly, the truth is there. But freedom is not there in you. So that's the reality right now. So question yourself, okay? So we started with the questioning, why do I have this itch to say something? Then you see the root. Then you have to work on your root, okay? And that's the way to do it. Okay, I hope this video makes sense to you. I hope you're enjoying your journey. I know it's not enjoyable journey, because it's about stepping away from the world and watching yourself and working on yourself is not so fun, especially when you start to see the fear. It's not fun. But if you stay open to that struggle, that's where you're going to create a major shift in your life. Okay, keep going, keep dismantling, guys. Anyway, thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care for now. Bye.